So welcome today. There has been some technical issues and we delayed coming in, but finally we're here. My name is Kelly and people know me as Coach Kelly. I'm here to talk about a very important topic about relationships. And I want to talk about some issues that you can agree with me from there about relationships. So I'm going to talk about some signs that you should know that your relationship is at the verge of collapsing. So relationships come here and go. So we should know that when we enter relationships, it's not a guarantee that they will survive. No. Although when God created us, He intended that we should always be in a solid relationships, healthy relationships, and they can last longer. That was God's plan. But relationships can start and break up. It's normal. And for us who are psychologists, especially when it comes to raising children and raising young people, I always tell people that it's always very important that young people always enter relationships and they also experience the breakups, heartbreaks. Heartbreaks are also good at times because when you experience a heartbreak in your relationships, that is an eye opener. It opens up your eyes to understand dynamics of life. And also, when you experience a breakup in a relationship, it's one of the things that makes you to understand the reality of life. It's part of maturity in the process. And it will help you to start understanding that, okay, this is how things work. Because normally, for those people who have been in their relationships, like when you got your first man or your first woman entirely, of course, it is good. It would be really good. Everyone would wish to have that, that when you start up relationship, you don't break up with somebody. But I think there is also some part of reality that someone misses in that regard. You can agree with me. So relationships come and relationships can break up, but relationships can be built. We can build our relationships that have been broken. We can restore them. However, I think today my concern is going to be on the signs that you should know that your relationship is bound to collapse. I think you can agree with me if you have been in more than one relationship. You know what it means. And I think these are normal things. Everyone always talk about them on TikTok. People talk about this on YouTube, and others talk about this in conferences. But I think it's a reminder. I think it can help somebody out there who is in confusion, who doesn't know what to do, who is just confused. Some people don't know. I hear people talking about red flags, but I don't want to use the word red flags, although it may mean the same. But I think that word is commonly used by people and they exaggerate a lot of things without giving the realistic part of how life really works when it comes to relationships. One thing that I should know about, one thing that you and I should know about relationships is that there is no formula, there is no stipulated formula that people should use to run their relationships. No, there is no formula. Even if you are 45 years, even if you've been in marriage for 45 years, that marriage can collapse. So therefore, there is no formula. I've seen people who have spent like 70 years in marriage and they end up collapsing at 70 at 75 years in marriage. Crazy. So the first sign that your relationship is almost not working or is about to collapse. One, people can call it lack of communication. I don't want to call it lack of communication, but I think I can call it um, variation in how you guys communicate. Because you see, why I don't want to call it lack of communication, it is because in most of the cases, how you begin your relationship is very much determining how you will complain about your communication. Because everything in life begins with the foundation. So how did you build your foundation of communication at the beginning? Because there are those people who always say that, okay, when they are in a new relationship, someone comes in and then they are always calling each other. Someone calls early in the morning, hey babe, are you awake? Then someone says, yeah, I'm about to wake up, blah blah blah. Then when it comes to maybe break time, okay, are you now having your break? Are you having your breakfast? Someone will say, yes, I'm having a breakfast, honey. I'm doing this. Now I'm going to do this. So when someone maybe is at work, they are always talking, blah, blah. Then have you had lunch? Yes, we are having, baby, I'm having lunch. When it comes to maybe the time in the afternoon, someone is about to go back home, they communicate, they talk to one another. It looks really nice, isn't it? When you're in such a relationship. Then when it comes evening, baby, are you back? Yeah, you see, I'm on my way going home. I'm now heading home. I'm now, parking my car. I'm on a bike. Maybe Uber is just dropping me here. I'm entering the house. Then, I mean, you are telling each other how your day schedule is gonna run. You are really happy. I mean, so you can even end up sleeping very late in night, communicating. I mean, it's so joyful. It's so good to communicate like that. But I always ask a question. Are you going to sustain how you are communicating? Because everything can be authentic when it is sustainable. Is your mode, is your foundation of communication sustainable? Because there are some people who have the kajanja. Kajanja means people who are always so, I mean, someone is like, oh, I mean, you are just, I don't know how kajanja is called in English, but you can put it in the comment section. But people always have excitement. I mean, as if you have just entered a relationship for the first time, and then you're like always trying to show that you're communicating. Man, are you going to sustain it? Or you are just doing it at the beginning, and then in the end, you're going to change. Let me tell you, when you start your relationship with such kind of excitement, such kind of a rivalryism, you're always communicating, you're always on phone, you're always texting, blah, blah. The moment reality comes in, because how long are you going to do that? Time comes, especially in today's world where people are so busy with work, where you can get issues, where you can be having a lot to do. I think there is a certain guy in my country, Frank Gashumba. He always say that he always talks about people who are always busy with making money. People who are always busy with assignments. People who are always. I mean, I'm not saying that you should not communicate in your relationship, but the foundation that you will be able to sustain what you begin. Make sure that when you are starting your relationship, please, what you start with, continue with that. Otherwise, when reality of life comes in and maybe you become a bit busy, you become a lot of things really happen. Someone will say you have changed and maybe there is something else that is happening. So one of the signs, and of course it is a reality, when someone began communicating properly every time they are communicating, I mean, I don't know how you began your communication. I don't know what you agreed upon when your relationship was beginning. But the moment there changes the mode, the moment there is a change in how you really have been communicating, just something is happening. Time comes when it comes to communication that someone is just like, there is no like, even if I don't, even if I don't communicate, I mean, someone doesn't mind. Someone who used to check, hello, honey, no, even a text, nothing. Unless your relationship was built like that in the beginning. But if you see that there's a decline, there are changes, unexplainable changes in your relationship. I mean, in your communication within your relationship, just underline that. And let me tell you something. When someone begins a relationship with that trend of like every time he's communicating, every time you are, hello, honey, blah, 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 honey, what? The moment such a person starts, you look at them. Most of the times, people who begin their relationships like that, such relationships don't last long. Let me talk this in my local language. Abantu abatandika relationship n'akajanja, akatinko, olusiddiiku, akajanja ako, kyova owulira abantu bagamba nti omukwano gunyuma bwe guba gutandika, naye we gugenda mu maaso bibaamu okukyuka. I don't agree with that statement. What am I trying to mean? People always say that love is always enjoyable, joyful. I mean, there is a lot of, sweetness when love is at its starting stage. For me, I don't agree with that because people are pretenders. I mean, when someone changes, actually, just to put a question mark, or it can also mean that that person has not changed, but they were just pretending. They were just trying to put like that excitement, and now they are bringing out their true colors. Then if you love that person and you are able to stay, just understand that now this is the reality of life. This is what it is. This is the true past. This is the true color of this very person that I'm dating or that I'm in love with or in marriage with. Because most of the times people always hide their true character in the beginning. They want to prove that they are really so sweet, they are really so good. But in the end, things change, and then a person really stands on the truth, on the reality of who they are. So, if there is a change in how you communicate, just underline it, and then you subject it to logic. That what could be the problem? Is this person trying to show out their real character? Or someone has changed their mind and there is some other person who is taking their time? Because it can be two ways. Either the person is naturally like that and is now trying to be real, in that in the beginning that person was trying to hide their real character, but now they are bringing out their true colors. Secondly, it can be that the communication changed because someone has some other person elsewhere who is consuming their time. Why is it that someone can be, cannot? And let me tell you, I think when it comes to communication, we should also not forget that communication, you can be communicating, hello, hey babe, how you good? In the morning, even in the afternoon, someone will communicate to you, hello babe. I think texting or calling one another for the sake of calling, that you are communicating, is not the issue. You can be checking on you after 2 hours, so that you don't identify, so that you don't know that there is something changing. But when someone has really left you or is doing their own other things alongside, but this communication should not blindfold us. that because you're talking with someone, because someone texts you in the morning or someone calls you on phone, you think that that is communication. No. Most of the people mistake that with communication. Someone can be talking to you in the morning every after 2 hours, or you talk on phone, or you text. But when that person has already gone, I think we should be so critical with how we communicate with our loved ones. Someone can be talking to you, but you can tell inside there is an intuition in your heart that this communication is not authentic. You can tell inside you that this person has really changed. Someone can text you and they send you a message for the sake of talking to you. But when their hearts are away from you, how many agree with me? Someone can talk to you, someone can be texting you. I've seen a lot of examples that people talk with others, but when in actual sense, someone is communicating, but someone is also doing a wedding somewhere. Someone texts you in the morning, hello, babe, how is your program today? So you talk. But at the end of the day, you find on social media, someone is busy on a wedding introducing someone else. But you talk every day. You even look at your messages. You can check your phone, and then you're like, she was talking to me. Even today we talked. But someone is busy marrying someone else. So we should not mistake communication with with authenticity. Someone can be talking to you, can be checking on the kids. Hello, where is Kay? I mean, you talk with Kay, you talk with kids. Are you okay? Is mommy fine? Or is daddy okay? But when someone is already doing some other things, start talking like this, someone goes, does something else. We should be very careful. We should be able to discern the tone of communication, the motive of communication, the motivation of what someone is speaking. And you can see variations, the response, even in messages. In a text message, for me, I am able to detect what someone is thinking in their hearts. I am able to do that. And you are able to do that. Only that you don't just put keen attention and analyze what is really happening. But always there is something coming in when we speak to people. I'm telling you. So don't mistake always being on a call. Someone can always be talking to you. But I'm telling you, you will discover that yes, you are talking. You see that there is a sequence of how you communicate in your messages or even on a phone call, but someone is already gone. And when you look, but when someone eventually closes up the relationship, that's when you can even go back and then you're like, oh, this is why. Then you start now joining and trying to see, okay, the dots will start matching. You're like, I see. Even the way, this is why he was speaking like this. Ah. So we need to be very careful. Communication. I won't say lack of communication because many people mistake communication because it can be a two-way that someone talks to you and you talk to them, blah, blah, blah. They are already gone. They're already doing their own things. We need to be very logical and we need to be very discernful with what is happening. Number two, one of the signs that your relationship is bound to collapse is when you are having frequent arguments all the time. Have you reached a level where you are in a relationship, you are in marriage, you are dating someone, but you are always not at the same page? You are not. You have this idea, someone is having another idea. I mean, something small like this. And let me tell you, one of the signs that someone is is no longer interested or is just pushing or forcing something. Because you see, some people can be in relationships when their hearts have already lit, and someone is there, either because of status, that they don't want to lose their status publicly. Number two, maybe they don't want to, they know that you are so weak that when they tell you that they have moved on, you will collapse and die, or you will get unconscious, or when you are sick. And someone doesn't want to hurt you. Someone doesn't want to be to be part of what maybe has killed you. So we should always know that one of the signs that our relationships are collapsing or are bound to collapse, or our marriage are at the at the verge of collapsing, is when you start having those arguments all the time. You are not agreeing on small things. And always look at your partner, look at your spouse very well, look at your husband, look at your boyfriend, look at your girlfriend. You will see one of the signs at the end of the if your relationship, for example, ends, if for those ones, if your relationship has ever ended, if you have ever broken out in a relationship, you will see these things I'm talking about. Look at how things started changing. You will realize that someone started, you talk about something, then someone starts kwekwasa. Someone is always speaking over small things. And you're like, how did we reach here on a small thing like this? Someone starts, coming up is like, but why do you say that? What were you meaning? On something small, someone changes. Someone starts to complain on a small issue, something small like this. Someone starts complaining. For you, you may think maybe someone has maybe you apologize, blah blah blah. And most of the times when there are arguments in communication with your spouse, sometimes the victims, someone who is innocent, will always want to say, honey, let's not go there. Then someone is like, but for you think it is something small, but this is a big thing. This is a big thing. Hey, someone has already moved on. For you, you are just there. You are just there, my dear. At the end of the day, you realize that someone has already moved on, is already doing their own things. So, arguments, frequent arguments in your communication, in your relationship, something small pisses someone off. So you may think it is maybe menstruation periods. If it is a man, you may say maybe someone is stressed with maybe money, and then you take it, you contain it. But if it goes frequent that someone starts changing, just know, my idea, that there is something wrong, that there is something wrong. And you don't have to underestimate that. You note those things. Now, number one, I talked about communication, and I explained how communication really should be. Number two, frequent arguments over small things. Someone starts kwekwasa. Omuntu ne yeekwasa kantu katini, gala omuntu ayagala bukadde weetonde. I'm sorry, honey. But for you, you're always saying sorry. What should I say? So be careful. Omuntu nga buli kadde akwetonza, olina kwegayirira, gwe alina okubeera nga owumbawumba, oyo omuntu yakuleka dda. Oligenda okuzuukuka ng'obudde bukedde. So number three, the third sign that your relationship is about to collapse or your marriage is almost ending, just or when there is someone, a third party, trying to drag your relationship down. Number three, emotional distance. When there is emotional distance, what do I mean? You start feeling that there is no intimacy. Nga temuconnectinga. Ochimanyi that you can be in a relationship with someone, but time comes when there is no emotional, there is no traction. Time comes when you feel like You can feel it in your spirit. You know, God gave us that intuition that you can even tell that you are no longer, there is a push. When you call somebody like this, the first word they speak can tell you, if you are so careful, you can feel that you are trying to push. For me, personally, this is my experience. One of the signs that I know something is wrong, someone may not be like maybe is cheating on me or something is, someone is doing something bad, but I can tell when someone is not even fine. I can feel emotional distance. When someone maybe is talking to me, I can feel like magnet, someone is pulling them away. That thing happens even to you. Maybe for you, you don't just notice it, but it happens. You start feeling that there is no affection. I mean, time comes when you reach, for those ones who are married, time comes when you feel like even when you're talking, like you can't even talk for 3 minutes. Or even when you talk for 5 minutes, you're like, what are we saying now? You're like, you don't know what to speak to each other. You can't even spend 5 minutes when you're communicating because there is lack of, I mean, that distance is there spiritually. There is no intimacy any longer. Intimacy does not come when you're physical. No. Even when you are distant, for those ones who are in a long distance relationship, you can feel that your partner has changed. Something is not right. Just there is a question, there is something going on. And then you need to talk about it. If you still love that person, you need to talk about it. Honey, what is the problem? Did I hurt you? Are you being troubled at the place of work? Is there something going on in your life? Are you sick? Someone can tell you they are not, someone can tell you they are sick, but when they are not sick, someone can always say, I'm like this. But when in other words, they are planning a perpetual process of breaking your heart. Someone can plan something perpetually. I talked about when it came to communication. Point number one. I told you someone can be there and you talk every day, but when someone has already left, nga yagenda da, nga is just keeping maybe status. See, maybe they know you are really a good person. That if they leave you, maybe you'll be hurt. You will really collapse, and they are just now bakutwala mpola mpola. Someone is taking you slowly by slowly, but time will come, and then you will really accept that for real. I'm just pushing. I'm just pulling. I'm just pulling this. It's too heavy. You will become emotionally perturbed. You'll start feeling emotional distress because you are pushing someone. You are trying to push someone. You're trying to make to fight that the relationship will really work. You feel there is something that is really not happening. But in moment here, it is deliberate. Some people can deliberately create that emotional distance among us. You feel that gap. You feel there is a void inside of you that need to be filled, whether you are physical or even when you are distant. Because this long distance relationship is healthy. And that is where the world is going. But I'm telling you, you can feel so affectionate when you are in a long distance relationship. But again, you can also feel that there is a distance when you are when you are physically together. So distance is not the problem. The issue is, are you emotionally together? Are you emotionally at one page? Are you emotionally at the same pace? So that is very important. So if you start feeling that emotional distance, connecting, you no longer connect. You're trying to push someone. You be in a love where you are just when you are just forcing someone. Let me tell you why. Why? Someone is just playing you contempt card. Why don't you start packing slowly by slowly so that you don't hurt? There is what you call inoculation theory. Inoculation means you start preparing either your heart for bad news. You can also start preparing your partner for bad news. You can. Someone can be psychological that they can start preparing you for something that is about to happen. Someone can start saying, hmm, you mean you can't you don't have guys who are chasing you out there. Ah, okay. I mean, someone can start bringing some chivos, some conversation, but in other words, they are preparing you for bad news. You need to be wise. You need to be wise because most of the times these things always happen, and then you start like when things have completely happened, you're like, ah, started seeing this, but I was not really so sure. Someone is trying to prepare you for what is likely to happen. That's what I talked about when it comes to communication. In the beginning, when you are building your relationship, you are building your relationship, but the way you start building it out, your foundation can prepare someone for the future. If you know you will be having maybe, if you know time will come, and then you will be like away, you will be distant from your partner. Start preparing them for that time that you know you'll be always a mobile man or you'll be a mobile woman. So that that woman or that man will be prepared that I am dealing with someone who is always away. I'm dealing with someone who is always maybe distant or someone who is always, I mean, don't fail to understand that concept of inoculation. Prepare yourself. So that's point number 3. Point number 4, different future goals. You know, time comes when you are in a relationship, in your relationship or in your marriage, but you are completely having different goals in life. It's very dangerous. You may call it goals, you may call it visions, you may call it purpose. Mm. You can be focusing on some goals with your partner in the beginning, and then you agree in everything. But the moment you start seeing that someone is just doing their own things without your consent, without your knowledge, I mean, start underlining something. Don't rush to argue or to quarrel, but underline those things one by one. And sit with them and ask, or first to watch over and then you see what is being played. Because some people are so smart at playing us. And at the end of the day, you will end up wasting your time on someone when someone has already gone. You are wasting your years, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy and your effort on somebody, you're wasting your resources on someone. At the end of the day, that person will leave you and they will be happy where they go. And for you, will cry crocodile tears. And you know what happens? Sometimes what makes me laugh is that when we are chasing people in our lives, we want them to love us. We want them not to live our lives. I mean, we are like chasing them. Honey, wrong. I'm not saying you should not fight for your relationship. You should. Yeah, you should. Because if you're just lazy, some other person will come and then they will take your spouse. Because sometimes we have weak people, weak spouses. So sometimes some things are worth fighting for, but there are some things that are not worth fighting for. There are some things that are not worth fighting for. Nah, no. So if someone has issues with communication, as I said, because I said the communication should not mean always talking, texting. Someone can be doing that, but when they are already moved away, in their emotions, they are not with you. And you can know. But some people are so foolish and naive, they can't tell. Let me think for you, you are able to tell. And you're able now to realize. Because some people think that calling you, someone can call you when they are very busy in bed with somebody. I have a friend who used to cheat on someone's girlfriend, but they were always talking. The woman could be in bed with this muyai, this person cheating, but then they are very busy having even sex, but he's talking with a boyfriend from abroad. People do that. Don't mistake these things of talking, hello, baby. Yeah, what are you doing? I'm doing this. Someone can be doing like that. They talk in the morning when they wake up, maybe when they're having breakfast, they tell you that I'm going to have breakfast. They try to tell you things like systematic. And for you, you get drunk. You think that, my dear, oh, we are communicating. Like the other person who told me that they were communicating with a boyfriend, even that very day. But after like the following day, a friend told them, do you know what is happening? Did you guys break up? Someone was like, with who? With your boyfriend. Someone said, nah, no. And then it was like, this is what is happening. The guy was very busy wedding on introduction, wedding some other woman. So, but they were very busy. Even on the on the party, at the event, the guy was texting the other girl. Look at such hypocrisy. So don't mistake always being on phone or texting you. Have you ever seen that someone can text you, but when you start maybe watching over, you follow the patterns of how they move their lives. The day someone told you, oh honey, I'm gonna be doing this this time, and then you're like, oh, then for you, you are like very happy, excited. I talked with someone, I know she told me she's going for a party, and I saw that she's in 30 minutes or in 1 hour after communicating to you. Someone, I was going to Kayunga in Uganda. I was going to a certain place, and I was in a public transport in a taxi, and I was going somewhere, and the woman was calling her husband. She was with some other guy. Hello, honey. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. They talked really in a sweet way. They are really enjoying, I mean, laughing. So the woman was like, honey, I miss you. Are you coming back? Coming this weekend? Huh? I think the man was very excited, very happy, and was like, no, I'm not coming. I'm coming. Okay. Oh, honey, but I'm going to miss you. I'm missing you, blah, blah. Well, now, when the guy went off the call, do you know what the woman said? The woman was like, it's not coming. It's not coming. So the woman was already in a taxi. She was having her own other plans, and she just wanted to test to know the plan of the guy. So as the moment the guy said that, oh, I'm not coming, so this one did something. She went for some other thing. Even last time I watched the news, someone was hit in Masaka in Uganda, and someone was like, the guy made himself like a border man, and he is the one who carried the wife to go to meet the other man in a guest house. So they were talking, and the man was listening to every story. So, and the guy also called the woman before that, are you okay? Is everything going on well? So we should not mistake always talking on phone with the real communicate with authentic communication, because someone will be communicating to you, but when there is really something else going on. So we need to be very careful, my dears. So even when it comes to future goals, different goals, at the beginning you were having the same goals, the same purpose. You were thinking together, you were planning together, but eventually time comes and then someone is just like, they are doing their own things. You just end up hearing that someone bought a house and you don't know anything. Eh, Someone is doing their own things. Or even when you start maybe talking, discussing issues, someone is saying, no, for me, for example, if you want to go abroad, and then you're like, honey, we need to start staying together. Someone will tell you, no, for me, I don't want to, I don't want to go abroad. And I like, there is nobody. Listen to me. There is no one who is in love, real love, Maybe unless someone is lying on you. There is nobody who will not want to live with their spouse or with their partner. But the moment you hear your girlfriend or your boyfriend telling you, but you know what, honey? For me, I don't want to be there. No. Why? Why in the first place? Why? Either that person has a motive. You need to first understand, ask her or ask him, why wouldn't you? Maybe someone wants maybe to be at home to run your business. Like, because today we are living in a world where people are not faithful. If your girlfriend tells you or your boyfriend tells you, let me stay here, let me be doing, because we need to be, when you're that side, it's very important that for me I will be taking custody and I'll be stewarding, like taking care of what we are building, because it doesn't make sense that a guy is in the United States, a guy is in Dubai, or a guy is in Europe, or is in Canada, is working, is bringing dollars, and then is giving the relatives or friends to eat it. It's better maybe a girlfriend is at home. Or it's better when the boy or the guy, the man, the husband is very busy using these resources. If you have a faithful husband, or if you have a faithful wife or girlfriend. So the motive is very important. Why doesn't your girlfriend, why doesn't your boyfriend want to stay where you are? Maybe she's having some other guys. Hey, hey. Oligendo zukukanga obudde bukedde. People are cheating today. I'm telling you. Relationships are breaking. And let me tell you, some relationships are standing, but they have a lot of loopholes. I'm not saying there is a perfect relationship. Don't quote me wrong. There is no perfect relationship, but there are a lot of ebibe. I don't know what ebibe are called. Foxes. There are a lot of foxes in relationships. What foxes are in your relationship? So if you realize that your partner is having, there is variation in goals, yet at the beginning you had the same goals, just put a question mark. Second last, decrease the effort to maintain a relationship. Let me tell you, when someone loves you, even when you do something wrong, even when you're not perfect, even when there is something, maybe there is some weaknesses, because we have weaknesses. I have my own weaknesses, and you have your own weaknesses. So, but if we have weaknesses, we need to complement one another. But the moment you reach a point when you feel that someone is not putting in the energy or effort to see that you guys stay together, you guys are happy, you guys are not hurt. If your partner is committing uh, pro, I don't know which word to use, because I'm a Bible scholar. I know some words are used wrongly. But if your partner is cheating on you continuously and they are doing the same mistakes and they are not having that remorse, someone is not feeling remorseful for always breaking your heart, for always hurting. You're not saying you should chuck them immediately. You find that they are maybe making a mistake. But look at a scenario where someone lacks remorsefulness, where someone lacks remorse in them to say, I am sorry, honey, and when the sorry is really meaningful, put a question mark. Because every person who is in love, every person who really pursues something healthy will always ensure that they find ways to see that the relationship is not breaking. But when someone has decreased the effort to maintain the relationship, the bond, honey, maybe we do this. Mukwano, maybe we try to do this. Maybe what else? What should we do? What am I not doing really right? Please, you need to have those conversations. Next time, maybe when I come back, talking about relationships, I will talk about some things that are very important that we need to discuss in a relationship. Because some relationships break because we undermine some four pillars. I will talk about them next time. I've been in a relationship. I know what it means. I've broken up, not with one person, not with two. I know what it means. I have that experience. I have that experience. I know what it means. I know what it takes. I know the mistakes that we commonly do, the things we've been doing, and the things that people are doing. So if someone is not putting in the effort to see that the relationship is moving, is going forward, let me tell you before I end, I'm about to end in 3 minutes. But let me tell you, if you are in a relationship and it's just one-sided, you are the one who is trying to see that you are happy. Even if you are a man, because I see very many men nebeegoba n'abakazi ne yeeguya. Lwaki weeguye nnyo? Someone will take you for granted. Someone will manipulate you. Someone will compromise you because they know that you love them so much. If I love you 50, you need to love me 50. If I call you in the morning, call me in the afternoon. If I call you in the evening, call me before we sleep. It's not one-sided. Love should not be diagonal. No. If it is to give gifts, if I give you a birthday gift, I need to see mine also. Don't think that you are the one who is supposed to receive, to be on the receiving side. No. If you're a woman, you need to learn to give your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance gifts. Don't be on the receiving side. You'll be like that's why people don't respect some women. Buy for him a shirt. Buy for him a shirt. Buy for him a cape. Something that he was not expecting. Buy for him a flower also. We also want flowers. Me, I love flowers. I love flowers. I love chocolate. Buy for me chocolate, Kari. Do it for me. When I'm going through hardships, buy for me some. I mean, not buying for me. When I'm going through hardships, I beg your pardon. Support me. I also need to feel that my wife, my girlfriend, cares about me. Buy for me a watch. But for you to be thinking, hey, I have my birthday party, oh, so what? Nange nine yange, I was also born. Prepare for me a surprise. So we need to be doing that. Effort, chengezako gamba. What I'm trying to mean, put in effort to see that your relationship really works. Tolekera munno. Yes, someone is saying 50-50. That is where the world has gone. Because if it is one-sided, then omuntu yeeguya, osobola okweguya omuntu. And at the end of the day, you will collapse. I think the Baganda have a saying that ogubulwa eyeeguya gusasika. We need to be there for one another. We need to put in effort. Me put effort, so put effort. So lastly, resentment. When there is that resentment, someone is go away kubakumuntu. If someone is like you're trying to pull someone, baby, when are you coming back to check on me? Maybe when someone is working in safari, and someone is like, in the Baganda have a saying of kuba mugongo, ngomuntu akuba mugongo. So we need to be when you realize that someone is ever trying to avoid, someone is ever like you. I mean, there are a lot of signs that you can really tell that someone is on another page. Someone is on another page. This is my conclusion today. There are a lot of things that I've not talked about that maybe I will make another video where you can tell that your partner is doing their own things. And when it comes to those people who are narcissists, narcissistic relationships, there are those ones which are not narcissistic, but they are toxic. But again, narcissistic relationships are really bad. And for me, personally, I can know that this person is just using me. Now ask yourself, Is that person using you? Or because someone can be in a relationship with you, but they just want to use you. And for you think that you are in love, you need to be really discernful. Speak with your partner. I'm telling you, very, very important. Someone is saying, is it good to show someone you love him? Let me see. Is it good to show someone you love that you love? Yeah, it is good. Kirungi okulaga omuntu nti gw'oyagala nti omwagala. Absolutely. Because if I don't see that you love me, and love tugirabirako ki? Because some people are going to say, mu bikolwa. That's why women regret a lot. Ebikolwa birungi, love without action is dead. But let me tell you, today, hypocrites, bayayi abafere, smart wires, the bafere ba love, those bayayi, they have actions. They have actions. They will make, someone will give you a car. That is an action on your birthday. Bamale bagiparking mu parking bagibbe ng'amaze okukulya. Bajja kukulya mmotoka. Someone will buy for you land, ennyumba, will give you ennyumba. Naye nga ekyapa kiriko enkaayana nga yakimanyi. Someone will do for you something, n'aggulira essimu ate ne mugenda n'akutwala out. We mutuuka out n'apanga abayaye emikwano gye ne bajja essimu. Zino iPhone zino eziriko, sima iPhone Pro, sima ya Max, sima ya biki, sima ya 15. Someone will buy it for you, agenda akusabule, agenda agikubbeko. Bagikubbeko eddeyo. People do those things. So actions should not be the determinant of true love. Because someone ajja kuzimbira essomero, akuteekemu, amala alyewolereko. Alirireko looni. Bajje balikuggyeko. Naye nga looni eyo ekoze essomero eddala. Mwe muli ku ki? Abantu bagezi. Ajja kikukolera, naye agaye mukwana, bla kakati yakola ebirala bino babitwala gaye munnaaye ate kati oba okirabye munnange, what are we going to do? So, omutima, love ya mutima. And we all have that heart. We all have that sense, the sixth sense. If you have spent some time with somebody, you can start understanding someone. But it's not also a guarantee. I began by saying people spend like 60 years in marriage and they break up. So, tegeera omwagalwawo, understand your partner. And you need to know, if you still want your relationship or your marriage, please, it is worth to sit down and talk to somebody. Mutunuulire, talk, have hard conversation. I will come back here one time and talk about how to engage in a hard or difficult conversation with your partner. Biki bye mulina okwogerako nga you will speak something that someone doesn't want to listen to, but it is helpful. Because we pretend so much with the sweetie, thing, but we end up breaking. So the foundation on which your relationship was started is going to determine how far you will end. Your attitude, like I said in a certain video, will determine your altitude, will determine how far you will go, either high or low. But those signs, and lastly, don't confuse always being on phone with somebody or texting with real communication. No. I told you need to understand the tone, you need to understand the motive, the wording, logic ali mu bigambo omuntu bye mwogera naye. Because abantu boogera n'abantu naye nga omutima oli ng'ali mukola bibi ebirala. Gwe mugamba, we are communicating. Ane gaya communicating nga gaya ali mu kukozesa bukozesa. Don't be excited, but be authentic, be real. If you're not good at that, speak. Mugambe, baby, nyambako wano, ndi munafu mu kino, but I just know I love you. Love tebajogera bwogezi, love eriko n'ebikolwa ebya remorsefulness and being willing to change mu kintu ky'olinamu weakness. I thank you so much for being part of today. And I think if you have any question, put it in the comment section, or we shall always be coming here on live. Our videos may not be looking so nice. We're just starting. Yeah, we're just starting, but we shall improve with time. So thank you so much. I'll be coming here if you want counseling, if you want some private talk that you want maybe to some questions. You reach out to me, send your email or your number in the comment section. I'll contact you and we shall talk. If you have a friend who needs some counseling, who's going through some stuff and they want reality, tell them Coach Kelly will give you reality. Nze ngaba ddagala likaawa kubanga lyeliwonya. I give you fragile or quinine, but you're going to be healed. This is the reality. I have experience in relationships. I have experience in leadership and raising children, like a family person raising young people. So reach out to me in those areas. Ne issues bino ebyobulamu bwaffe bitali saaga nnyo bya bufuzi, but I love politics, but I don't want to talk about politics here. No. So thank you so much. Recommend someone to come on our YouTube channel, and we can always have a conversation. Time will come, and then I'll be giving you platforms also to come here, and then we talk on the video together. Thank you so much. Here we say, have a wonderful afternoon. Yeah, you are blessed.